My name is Shelly. I'm the volunteer manager, and today we are going to meet some of our lemurs here in our habitat, and we're going to be discussing self-care a little bit. Now that we've all been in quarantine for a few days and we don't want to lose our minds, we're going to see what we can do here at home and what we do for our animals here at the zoo. So in this habitat, you guys can see 4 of our lemurs. The ones on the top left are ring-tailed lemurs. They get their name from their ring tail. We have Gidro and Nathan. And on the bottom right, the red one and black one, those are called blue-eyed black lemurs. McKinnon is the red one and Murphy is the black one. These guys are new to your Akron Zoo and they arrived this past fall. They're a very special treat to see, even though they just went inside their habitat holding. Because only 10 zoos in the United States have these animals. They came to us from the Duke Lemur Center in North Carolina, one of our excellent partners. And Nathan has recently come to us from Trevor Zoo in New York. And Gidro was born here at your Akron Zoo 15 years ago. So he knows everything that we do and everything that's going on. So right now we have Keeper Mallory getting ready to do a training session because your mental health is just as important as your physical health. So we ask the lemurs every day to help us out with their medical care and to challenge their minds. Nobody wants to get bored being at home all the time. So we do training sessions, and that asks the animals to use their mind of what is the keeper asking for me, how can I do it, how can I do it better? And it gets them to do some of their natural species-specific behaviors. And this is Gidro coming right up to the window to say hello, and McKinnon hanging down. High five, very important to stay motivated and positive in these challenging times. You guys can see how the lemurs use their feet to hang from the trees, or their net in this case. They're going to help Mallory out to clean up some of those training treats. It's important to keep your space nice and clean. And these guys are on top of it. The ring-tailed lemurs are a terrestrial lemur. 80% of their time that they are able to climb trees and jump around and leap all around. You guys have all heard leaping lemurs, and that's what we have here at your Akron Zoo. And then our blue-eyed black lemurs, they are an arboreal species, which means they live in the trees and run around. You guys can see their habitat is full of all kinds of branches and nets and perching and vines, and that helps them to be able to travel around off the ground or on the ground, however the lemurs want to go. Maintain their social bonds and keep their family ties tight. McKinnon is clearly the star of the show today. She just had her birthday on Sunday. She turned 3 years old. So she is a toddler in every sense of the word, running around and being crazy and up in everything. With our primates, they always wear a mask and gloves, and it's not because we're worried about what the primates will give to the keepers. It's what the keepers could potentially give to the primates, because the keepers go out in the world and are exposed to all kinds of different germs that the animals here at the zoo are not. So it's just an effort to keep our animals as safe as possible all the time.
So are all in this habitat, are they all lemurs?
Yes, they are all lemurs. We have
we do apologize, everybody. I know our connection keeps going in and out. It doesn't appear to like this building, even though our lemurs are awesome. So please bear with us if the connection goes out. We're working hard to keep it coming back in.
Isn't technology fun? It allows us a chance to connect and also get very frustrated. It's good for your mental health. Some good stress is good and bad. It keeps everything interesting. Elena, do you have another question? Okay. So our ring-tailed lemurs spend a lot of their time down on the ground and are able to come up in the trees when these guys nap. They nap together kind of in a lemur pile, and they wrap their striped tails around their bodies. It helps keep their nose warm, just like the snow leopards do. And it also helps them to stand out, and it allows them to not look like one specific individual lemur. It makes it harder for predators to get them. The two predators that they have to worry about on the island of Madagascar are Dumerel's ground boas, very large snake, and the fossa. The fossa is it's related to the mongoose, but looks more like a mountain lion, just very small. And they are the only mammal predator that the lemurs have to worry about in Madagascar. And it's more the younger animals that have to be concerned. The older animals are a little bit too big and are not as big of a problem for them. So you can see as the male is showing you his foot with his toes sticking out, they do not have an opposable thumb, but the way their thumb is positioned on their feet, it helps them grip so that they are able to hang from the branches, as McKinnon demonstrated earlier for us. It helps them very nicely being out in the trees and being able to move around. Sometimes you jump and land on a branch and it's not as sturdy as you thought it was, and by having a good grip with their feet, even if the branch moves, the animals are able to stay connected and not fall off. So that's very helpful as well.
Finley wants to know, how many babies do they have at one time?
For the most part, the ring-tailed lemurs will have one baby at a time. They can have twins, but it's not quite as common. And we don't really know yet for the blue-eyed blacks. The blue-eyed black lemurs were only discovered in 1983, so there is not a whole lot of information available about them at this time. So more research is being done, and I will let you know as soon as we know.
So how many different kinds? There we go. We're back. Sorry about that again. So how many different kind of lemurs do we have here at the Akron Zoo?
We have 3 different species of lemurs here at your Akron Zoo, but there are 30 different species of lemurs found on the island of Madagascar, ranging from teeny tiny little lemurs to giant lemurs. The injury is the largest. So right now, the training session has ended. The lemurs are back to just hanging out and taking a break. So what they usually do after they have a nice snack or have some exercise, they'll stretch a little bit, and then they will go ahead and get ready for a nap. So they are very good at eat breakfast, have a little nap. Eat some lunch, have a little nap. Eat dinner, have a little nap. So I think the lemurs are onto something, most definitely, that we could look into. Because right now, it appears Murphy and McKinnon have gone in the back. Oh, here she comes back to see what's going on. And the ringtails are still out here. Now everything that is happening here at the zoo. You guys can see some of the different enrichment that we put out into the habitat. The keepers put some yoga mats, lemur safe yoga mats, out on the habitat, since Allison is going to do some yoga with us and show us some ways that we can relax at home as well and try to channel your inner lemur. Most definitely.
Olivia would like to know, how long do the lemurs sleep in a day?
The lemurs can sleep anywhere from 10 to 15 hours a day. They are diurnal, which means they're awake in the daytime, and they do sleep all night, but they will nap throughout the day.
And we're back.
So the lemurs are diurnal, which means they're awake all day and sleep all night. So while they're sleeping at night, they sleep just like we do until the daytime. They're up with the sun and they do their morning meditation, and then they run around, nap a little, run around some more. It takes a lot of energy to be a lemur, so they do rest a lot during the day. They are not active every moment of the day to conserve energy.
So Nate, I don't know if you heard that, but we just answered they're not nocturnal. They are awake during the day.
Yes.
So Shelly, can you talk about some of the lemurs' favorite foods?
The lemurs' favorite foods, these guys are vegetarian, and fruits and veggies are their most favorite. And the sweeter the fruit, the better. They get mangoes, bananas, apples, carrots, sweet potatoes. They also get lettuce, and it's not everybody's favorite food, but it works. We gotta keep them nice and healthy. And then they also get a crunchy little biscuit. It's called a leaf eater biscuit, and that biscuit helps with their teeth, because you can't really ask the lemurs to floss. They're not quite coordinated enough for that. So by using those biscuits, when they crunch on the biscuit, it helps keep their teeth nice and clean. So they also will get branches with leaves on them, that's called browse, and they will peel the leaves off and eat the leaves. So they eat a little bit of everything. The ring-tailed lemurs also like to have hard-boiled eggs, and they will even eat some bugs. So they'll eat crickets, mealworms, waxworms. It's just a little bit of extra protein for them.
So do the lemurs get to sun themselves outside?
Yes, they do. We have an outdoor space that the guests can't see, but the lemurs have access to, and they can go outside and sit in the sun. We also have three skylights in their house, and you can see that their perching goes all the way up to the skylight, so they are able to sit there even in the winter when it's too cold to go outside, and they can still get some sunlight and the benefits of seeing the sunlight.
So Caitlin would like to know if lemurs are endangered.
Yes, they are, unfortunately. The main cause of them being endangered is loss of habitat. They are only found in one place in the whole wide world, and that is the island of Madagascar. And when a species lives on an island, they are very susceptible to any sort of changes in their habitat, and that can affect their population numbers. So as the population of the people of Madagascar continues to grow and rainforest trees are being cut down for farming and for cattle to graze, the lemurs are losing habitat for that.
So what do we do for the lemurs for enrichment?
The lemurs, we do all kinds of things for them for enrichment. The easiest thing to do is change up their food. So the keepers will cut their food in different sizes. So sometimes they'll get teeny tiny pieces of sweet potato, and other times it'll be a giant hunk. We can also cook the food to make it mushier, because food does taste differently if it's cooked. We can also make popsicles out of just about anything, and we can freeze their food, and that changes it up. The other things that we do for them is we can rearrange their house. So all of the perching in here is able to be rearranged by the animal care staff, and that allows for variety and change for the animals. Just like you change the furniture in your house to make it interesting, we do the same thing for the lemurs. We also give them toys to play with, new smells to play with. You can see the toys that are in the net over here by their food bowl. We can put food in there so they work for their food and manipulate the items to get the food to fall out, just like your dog at home. When you put their crunchy food in a ball and they have to push the ball around for the crunchies to fall out, we can do the same thing with the lemurs here at the zoo.
So do you know what their favorite item is to use for enrichment?
Oh, their favorite item in the whole wide world is usually food. Any sort of new food item that they haven't had before, or a super special treat like jelly or pudding or honey. The keepers can put little tiny dollops of it throughout the habitat, and then the animals get up to go find it and see what new exciting things the keepers have done for them every day.
So Brooklyn wants to know how old our lemurs are and who is the oldest lemur.
Alrighty, Nathan is our oldest. He will be 17 in May, followed by Gidro, who just turned 15 last week. And then Murphy is going to be 4 years old in May, and McKinnon just turned 3 on Sunday.
So Olivia wants to know, how many teeth do they have and how long are their tails?
Their tails are about the same size as their body. So if their body from nose to bum is about this long, their tail is about that long right off the back of them. And their tail works like a rudder as they're jumping through the trees in the forest and helps them keep their balance. As far as the number of teeth specifically that they have, I can look that up and get back to you as soon as possible.
All right. And then how do they use their stink?
Oh, for stink fighting. So the ring-tailed lemurs are the ones that do the most stink fighting. And if you noticed when Gidro and Nathan were participating in the training session, that they had large black glands on their wrists, and they also have glands in their armpits, and those are their scent glands. They are more pronounced in males, and what the males do is they take their tail and they rub the stink on it, and they flick their tail and throw their stink on each other. So when the males are in competition with each other for females, they are able to display to each other, and that is the easiest way for them to kind of protect their territory and to secure new females. And the smellier, the better. So the female lemurs love the stinky, stinky males, and if a male lemur's stink is very powerful, he will overwhelm the stinky male and send him away. So ring-tailed lemurs stink fight, so I would suggest never get into a match with a lemur. You're not going to win.
All right. Well, if you guys give us just 1 second, we're going to get set up for our fun animal yoga.
So every single morning, the ring-tailed lemurs get up with the sun, and they will select a space in their habitat, and they will sit where the sun can hit their chest, and that helps to warm them up and get ready for the day, because it can be a little chilly in the evenings of Madagascar. And then they are ready to start their day, and that's one of the ways that the lemurs practice self-care. And now Allison is going to teach us some ways that we can take care of ourselves at home. And I will find out how many teeth lemurs have.
Awesome, thank you so much, Shelly. So my name is Allison, and I'm an animal ambassador keeper here at the Akron Zoo, and I'm also a yoga teacher. Now that might seem like two totally different jobs, but they actually have more in common than you would think. So as a zookeeper here at the Akron Zoo, it's my mission to connect people to wildlife and help them care about natural spaces. As a yoga teacher, I kind of do the same thing. So by teaching yoga and helping people to practice mindfulness, it can help you to be a better steward for the natural world. And another fun thing about yoga is a lot of the poses that we do are modeled after what you see animals doing in their natural habitats as well. So like Shelly mentioned, the lemurs will sit in their kind of yoga pose. So we've got ourselves all set up. I've got my little habitat set up here. So I've got my yoga mat. If you don't have a yoga mat at home, no big deal. You can use a beach towel or a blanket, or you can even just find a spot on your carpet. And that's gonna be your yoga area. You've got your reusable water bottles in case you need to rehydrate. And then also you wanna take your shoes and socks off so you've got nice grip with your feet, or you can use grippy socks like what I have. Now, once you're all set up and you've got your space, you want to make sure you can let yourself just settle and be calm. Yoga is so important for self-care because it can help to reduce stress and anxiety, which I'm sure a lot of us are feeling in this really uncertain world right now. And it can help you to not only connect with yourself and your breathing and your movement, but also with the world around you. So you can know that while you're practicing this Facebook Live, either now or later, that you're practicing with other yogis all around the world, and you're even connecting with the animals by making yourself into shapes, just like the animals do. So we'll get started in our yoga pose like the lemurs do by putting our feet together, letting our knees go wide and our arms go long. So what you can do here is you can let your eyes come to a close and you can just breathe. Once you get settled into this pose, you can even use your imagination. Pretend like you're in Madagascar, just like a lemur, getting all nice and warm and toasty in the sunshine. This can be so helpful because sometimes when you're cooped up at home, or maybe if it's a dreary day, you might kind of forget what that sunshine feeling feels like, but coming into your yoga practice and closing your eyes, sometimes you might even feel like that sunshine is warming you right up. Now we're gonna make our way into a flow, so allowing yourself to join your breath and your movement. So this is called cat-cow, and you're gonna do this by setting up into a tabletop pose. So your shoulders, your elbows, and your wrists are all in a line, your fingers are spread wide, your hips and your knees are in line, and your toes are long and flat on the mat. So coming into cow pose, your belly will sink and your gaze will come up, and then coming into cat pose, your back will arch, kind of like a Halloween cat, and bringing your gaze down low. So what's really fun about this is you can actually make your little animal noises while you're doing this. So when you come into your cat pose, you can yowl or hiss. When you come into your cow pose, you can maybe even moo. So just joining your breath and your movement here and thinking about those animals who you're modeling your poses after. Now you're going to bring your seat back toward your heels, coming into a seated position here and becoming a lion. So this pose is really, really fun and can be kind of a good way to release stress because we're going to make a onto your thighs here. Bring your gaze out front. You're going to take a deep breath in, and then your breath out is going to be either a roar or you can kind of puff your breath out. So I'll show you first, and then you can go with me. So deep breath in. That's one way to do it. The other way you can do it is a deep breath in. Roar. So that can be really fun, right? So get your whole family together and you can do your lion's breath. So we'll do that all together one more time. So deep breath in. Roar. So I hope you had a lot of fun doing your lion's breath. And then we're going to make our way into camel. So you're going to leave your shins and your feet down onto your mat and then come up so that you're pressing down onto your shins, the top of your feet, and into your knees. So what's one thing we know about camels? One, they spit. We're not going to be spitting today, but they do have humps. So we're going to come into our camel hump by taking your hands and putting them on your back so your fingers are pointing down, and then you're going to start to slowly lean back. So as you do this, your body's becoming that camel hump. Gaze comes up. You can even reach your hands down to your heels to let yourself become a camel. Then you'll slowly bring yourself back up. Because that was a really big back bend, you're going to want to counter that stretch by coming into a child's pose. So lowering your seat back down to your heels, your knees can come together, your forehead comes down to the mat, and your arms can go long at your sides. This will feel really nice after that big back bend. Then you're going to crawl your hands forward and become a crocodile. So lowering your belly all the way down onto the mat. Your forearms will become parallel to the front of the mat, stacking the arms on top of one another, and then lowering your forehead down onto your arms. This is a really nice calming pose that allows you to connect with your breath. And you can imagine you are a crocodile. So you're laying in the stream, pretending like you're a log, just letting yourself be very still. But remember, a crocodile is a predator. So if something tasty swims by, then you'll lift your hip and you can chomp, 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 going after whatever food item you might be finding. So just allow yourself another moment to catch your breath here and be that nice, sneaky crocodile before bringing your hands up along your sides, pressing into the palms of your hands and coming up into cobra pose. Now, if this doesn't feel good, you can bring yourself down lower and come into a baby cobra. So when you come here, now you're a snake. So what do snakes do? Snakes make a hissing sound, but they also use their tongues to help them to smell. So you can sniff around your house by sticking your tongue out and being a little cobra. Now, you're going to press into the palms of your hands and bring yourself back up into tabletop, pressing into your fingers, letting your palms support yourself. Curl your toes under and let your hips go high and back, coming into your downward facing dog. So since you're a dog, you can wag your tail around a little bit. You can walk your dog out by bending into your knees here. Let your head hang down heavy. And maybe pant like a dog so you can stick your tongue out and use your breathing to help to warm your body up. And then you're going to come up onto your toes and walk your way all the way up to the top of your mat. But stay folded over because now we're going to become gorillas. So in order to become gorillas, we want our arms to be super duper long. So bringing the palms of your hands underneath your feet, your arms will get really long and you'll bend into your knees. And you can pretend like you're a gorilla making your way through the forest. Once you're done being gorilla, walking your hands back up your legs and coming up into standing. Now we've talked a lot a tree. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. So we're going to start off by rooting down into our left foot, and then your right foot starts to come up. So you can kickstand it on the ground so your toes are still pressing into the mat, or you can bring your foot up to your calf, or you can bring it up to your thigh. The only thing you don't want to do is let that foot come against your knee because that won't feel good. So once you're settled in here, then it's your choice if you want to grow your branches or stay small. So you can stay like this. You can become more of a bush or a shrub by bringing your hands to your hips, or you can grow your branches long and tall. Now you might notice you wobble a little bit. If you do, that's totally fine. You might even fall down. No big deal. You can grow your tree again. And remember, as you're waving back and forth, that's just like trees do in nature. When the wind blows, those branches will blow too, and that flexibility allows those trees to be able to withstand strong winds in the storms. Now you're going to go ahead and bring your hands back down to your hips. Lower that foot back down. Sometimes when we do these balance exercises, we can get a little stiff. So just go ahead and shake it out a little bit before you find your tree on the next side. Remember, each side of your body is different, so you don't want to automatically jump into how you did your tree on the other side. Instead, experiment and see if maybe it feels better to do a kickstand or just leave your foot down on the calf for this side of your body. Again, you can grow your branches however you want, and let yourself just kind of sway and go with the flow. Something really important when things are like they are these days, where everything is changing and things can be really different from day to day. Now go ahead and bring your hands back down. Shake it out and let it go. And if you were thinking, as you were that tree, about some animals that live in trees, that's perfect, because our next pose we're going to do is called an eagle pose. So eagles are really amazing birds you can actually see right here at the Akron Zoo. All of the eagles that live here at the zoo have some kind of an injury that prevents them from being able to live in their native habitats. They get a second chance at life right here at the Akron Zoo, and you get an awesome opportunity to see them really up close and personal. Now, eagles are really awesome because they have amazing vision. So this pose is going to again challenge your balance, but also allow you to get really focused. Yoga is awesome for helping to reduce that stress and anxiety while also being calm and focused. So, coming into this pose, again, let that weight come into the left side of your body, bend into that left knee, and cross your right leg over the left. You can leave those toes kickstanded like you did in your tree pose, or you can wrap that around your calf. Your arms come out in front of you, and your right arm crosses under the left, so your elbows are crossing on top of each other. You can bring your palms to touch, or your hands can come to your shoulders. If you feel really comfortable, you can let yourself sink down a little bit deeper, or you can when it's come out of eagle pose, you're going to let those wings come out, flap them, and lower that foot down. Let's go ahead and take eagle on the other side. So rooting down into your right foot, that left leg is going to cross over. Out, flap, and make your way safely back down to the ground. Pretty fun, right? Now our next pose, we get to become frogs. So in order to become frogs, you're going to take yourself so that your feet are wide on your mat, your toes point out,
down and your heels point in. Bring your palms to touch at your heart center and allow yourself to sink down into a little squat. So now it looks like you've got those really long legs like a frog does. This might be a really fun time to kind of hop around the house a little bit, or maybe ribbit, or stick your tongue out like a frog does when they're going after delicious bugs. Once you're done hopping around and ribbiting just like a frog, you can let your seat come down to the mat and let yourself sit and bring your feet together just like we did for that first lemur pose. Now, if you've ever gotten a chance to come to the zoo and see our amazing grizzly bears, Jackson and Cheyenne, you might have seen Jackson be kind of a silly grizzly bear. One of the things that Jackson loves to do is grab onto his toes and stretch his legs long. So, our last pose that we're going to do today is the Jackson the grizzly bear pose. So, putting the soles of your feet together, grabbing onto your toes, leaning back onto your seat, and let those legs go long. You can leave your knees bent deeply, or you can let them stretch long however you want to. And then just imagine yourself being a great big silly grizzly bear like Jackson. Then let your feet come down to the mat. Scoot yourself so that your legs have enough space at the top of your body. And now here comes the best self-care part of yoga, your Shavasana, or your final resting pose. So this is the part where you get to lay all the way down on your mat, and you're going to recline, let your arms go long at your sides, and close your eyes. Just let your breath become really soft, and begin to let go of your body, and let go of your breath, and let go of any stress or worry that you might be holding on to. Allow yourself to know that self-care is so important. That taking care of yourself allows you to help and take care of others. And know that your connection to nature is with you always, even if you might have to be cooped up inside for a little while. And once you're all done resting, you can take as long as you want here. You're going to roll yourself over onto your side, taking your time coming back up into a seated position. And once you come here, you can bring your hands to heart center, and we're going to say namaste, just like it's on our lemur enrichment here. So that's just a way of me saying thank you.